You're listening to the Sales Hunter podcast. I should say you should be viewing the Sales Hunter podcast because that's what we're talking about. Video play in terms of the sales process, how to make it work, how to happen, and hold the entire automation. We've got an expert with us. Why am I talking? Let's get the show going right now.
You're listening to the Sales Hunter podcast with Mark Hunter, where the focus is to help you as a sales leader sell with confidence and integrity. And now here's your host.
Hey, Rapid Scale is our sponsor. Exceptional technology is powered by exceptional people. Join the sales team at Rapid Scale, part of the Cox family of companies and a leader in managed cloud solutions. You can learn more by going to rapidscalecjobs.com. Okay, we ready to talk video? Yes, we are. Hey, welcome so much. Introduce yourself to the show.
Yeah, Mark, thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be on the show. My name is Jonathan Lister. I'm the COO at Vidyard. So I run sales and marketing. Vidyard is a video platform for B2B selling and marketing. We make it easier for sellers to sell and easier for buyers to buy. I've spent 25 years in sales and marketing, mostly in technology, mostly in B2B, working with some of the largest companies in the world and some startups. I'm excited to talk about what's happening in video and AI and sales and marketing in general, sales and buying in general.
Well, that's the whole thing, because video is still really new in the sales process. Let's not kid ourselves. We aren't even beginning to get to it. But now you're over at Vidyard, and I know you're doing some cool things over at AI because I follow you guys very closely. You are at a lot of conferences I'm at, and I love the stuff you're doing. But how does video? Share with us statistics, because there are still video skeptics out there when it comes to the sales process. Share with us some numbers as to the impact video has in the sales process.
Yeah, I think, look, if you talk to most sellers now and most leaders, they will tell you that video plays a key role in selling. And if you ask them, will video play a much larger role in selling and marketing? The answer is unequivocally yes. So one of the reasons I work at Vidyard is there is no future where video doesn't play a massive role in selling and buying. It is early stages for lots of companies, and it's late stages for lots of companies. Vidyard has tens of thousands of customers and hundreds of thousands of individual users using video every day. Some have a daily use case, some have a slightly different use case. It is definitely growing. We are definitely on the curve. And what I'm really excited about, of course, is how we're going to use AI in video and how AI is going to complement, not take over, but how it's going to complement in real life and other forms of touches, other forms of media in the sales and buying cycle.
Hey, I love what you're saying in terms of complement, but I'm going to back up the bus here for just a second. Because it's kind of funny. Podcast. We think of that as audio. You know what's amazing? More podcasts are being watched and listened to in video form than actually audio. YouTube is now 40% source for all podcast downloads. Think about that for a moment. So video is integrated into everything. So this is the whole thing. If salespeople aren't using it, hey, wake up, people. But now you're integrating AI. Let's talk about how AI is playing into the video role.
Sure. So right now, Vidyard has a couple of products. One is a sort of hosted video product for marketers where you can host your company videos. But the second one is an outreach product for sellers. So where sellers can, take a video themselves, short snippets, send it to the customer. And they can do that for all kinds of different reasons. You might do it for whatever, big top of funnel, kind of introduce yourself, request a meeting, confirm a meeting, send pricing, all these kinds of things. What we launched 8 months ago, was what we call AI avatars. And avatars are an exact likeness of yourself. So me as a seller, Jonathan, that I can really simply record one time and then really easily drop a script in, whether it's a typed script, a verbal script, or get AI to generate a script. And at that point, I can deploy this avatar anytime, anywhere, in any workflow, inside my company's workflow. And so we think of this, Mark, broadly as personalization at scale. This is the ability to replicate yourself and say whatever you like as a seller, again, at any place in the workflow. So meeting all your customers' needs. And I think everybody probably on this call knows kind of what it's like to be a buyer now. Being a buyer is like super hard. Guess what? Like buyers don't want to talk to sellers. Buyers wish that automation helped them buy better. Buyers, wish that sellers showed up, and advised them and armed them, armed with data and all that stuff. And this really kind of is a real, both a forcing function, and it provides the ability to do that. So super excited. We're early in market here, and happy to talk about what it means and how folks can think about it.
Yeah, I want to talk a lot more about that. Where does this get integrated into the sales process?
That's a really good question. And I mean, we're kind of 7 months into market here. And the way we go to market, we want to be first to market with this product. So we came out and we went out to lots of users, lots of customers, and said, hey, here's this thing that we launched. We think it's really interesting. Well, how would you use it? What would you like to do with it? Where do you find value? And of course, we got a wide range of reactions, and we see it being used in sort of like that BDR outreach use case, where a BDR, like, I don't know somebody, I don't know my customer, but it's a really useful way for me to, kind of scale myself. But actually, I think quite interestingly, we see it all the way through the customer journey, but we see it in post-sales, account management, customer success a lot, where, hey, Mark, I know you, like we have a relationship, and we just had a meeting like a week ago. I don't want to have another meeting. You don't have another meeting, but I can send you like a version of myself, an avatar of myself, with a meeting follow-up, or with a pricing proposal, or with a feature, or something you asked about. And it's a really relatively elegant way for me to scale myself. Especially, by the way, we have, as a seller, you might have, even if you manage sort of enterprise, large enterprise accounts, you have like many touch points inside those customers. You want to be keeping up with them. You want to be talking to them. You want to be maintaining relationships with them. And so this is just one way to do that. So we see use cases kind of all the way through, from those high pressure moments, maybe early on in the sales cycle, all the way through to managing customers and managing your important contacts.
Okay, see, this is what I love about this, because we're seeing use applications. Because initially, when video first came out, people saw it as this initial prospecting piece. But what you're saying is, now think about the account executive. You're right. You got 30, Absolutely. 40, 50 touch points. How do I stay on top of everything? How do I just keep my face in front of them? This is a way to do it. Post-sale. What a great way to help that onboarding, help make that transition over to the onboarding team, or for the onboarding team themselves. There's so many applications for this, but you said something that was very keen. You're not hiding behind it. You're saying, hey, I've got this avatar that I can, that you're being right up front with the customer, telling them.
Yeah, to be clear, I mean, customers can deploy this however they would like to deploy it. Some customer, one of the interesting things we're going through right now is companies are, creating their AI policies, they're creating their governance, and some companies want to be more forthright. Some companies want to be disclosive, others care less. And I think, look, this will resolve, and it won't be Vidyard that decides what the path is. It'll be customers, it'll be users, it'll be, executive teams. And so we allow for all of those things. We allow for disclosure, and if folks want to run their scale a different way, they can do that. I think the important point is like it is settling out there. Like people are deciding what their approach is. And I'll give you kind of maybe one example. When we first started selling this product, again, only 7 months ago, we heard from executives that they, even if we could deploy this, like the value of this is you can deploy it, you can create an avatar, and you can put a script in, and you can send it without ever reviewing it. This is the whole point. You can do it in the wild. And we heard early on that lots of companies were uncomfortable with that. They wanted to review, and that's fine. So we actually went back and built in kind of a review process where you could review the video, review the script. 6 months later, you fast forward, and now companies are getting lots more comfortable in doing what we call, what you think of as human out of the loop. Because the real value is like, I want to drop this into my workflow. I want to have some trigger that says I should send a video to a customer, who has requested a piece of information. I want to 100% guarantee that they get the right message at the right time. This will do that. And so companies are getting more comfortable with sort of a human out of the loop approach. Again, it is really early, and people will have all kinds of different perspectives, but that's just a trend that we've seen over the last 6 months.
Well, I kind of equate this to very similar to the way we used to buy airline tickets. You used to go on the phone, get the travel agent on the phone, and now it's all online. Again, we're more accustomed to technology. We had the, you go on a website and, hey, you want to chat with me? Here's the bot. You're bringing a video function. But I love what you're saying here, though, in terms of almost declaring it up front. Hey, I've got this video I can send you of me. Boom. And I like that, because I think what this is going to do is going to create authenticity in this AI world that we're in. People are concerned. People are getting pushed aside. And what you're saying is, no, hey, this plays right in there. And I love that. I mean, to me, you want to demonstrate integrity to a customer. That's how you're demonstrating integrity to a customer and able to reach far more people than you ever could before. Yeah.
Look, Mark, I agree. And, you and I have been at this business a long time, a couple dozen years. I believe deeply in trust in sales. I know you do too. You've had a couple shows on trust. Trust is incredibly important. So how do avatars help complement or reinforce trust? Well, trust is sort of like consistency over time. It's like how do I show up? And what avatars are allowed to do is, when we first went to some of our customers, let's take sort of big finance customers. One of the challenges that finance customers have with selling is they have to audit all the scripts. They have to have these tools that allow them to be in control of the effectively what their wealth managers say.
Right.
Well, we just solved that problem. Like with avatars, you are literally typing in a script, and so you are going to create that level of clarity, accuracy, and then a consistency over time. So I would argue that there are ways that avatars can do a better job than humans at creating that level of consistency and accuracy information, which buyers demand. Right? Every buyer right now is like, if a seller shows up, I really want them to know what they're talking about. I really want them to be on point, add value from day one. And we think this is a tool that helps to do that.
I love what you're saying there, because you're right. If you're in any kind of a regulated environment, financial, pharmaceutical, there's any number, or in an organization that is highly, litigious, this really overcomes all of those issues.
Yeah.
And,
we have talked to other customers who have said things like, look, we launch a product once a quarter. And what I really want is for all my sellers to say basically exactly the same thing to 100% of my prospects. That isn't maybe a super high bar, but I want it to be delivered the exact same way. Or now, by the way, they're humans. Of course, I want authenticity. I want the personality to show up. So do that. Again, this is a product that allows you to do that. You can create, a uniform but personalized message to all of your customers and all of your prospects with a human behind it. So I think, again, there are lots of use cases, lots of examples where I think this is a product that can reinforce trust, it can reinforce the humanness, it can help to complement what's required in building relationships.
I think people listening to this or viewing this are now realizing how many ways you can bring video into your sales process. We're talking with Jonathan Lister, COO of Vidyard, talking about the role of video in sales. We're going to be back to him in just a moment. But right now, hey, RapidScale, exceptional technology. It's powered by exceptional people. It's part of the Cox family of companies and a leader in managed cloud solutions. RapidScale helps businesses simplify IT and unleash innovation. Join the sales team at RapidScale and get ready to earn recognition and enjoy top-notch rewards and benefits. Connect to work that improves lives, including yours. Learn more and apply today at rapidscalegobs.com. Okay, back to you, Jonathan. I want to come to you. What would you say are a few best practices? Now, you mentioned earlier that the marketplace is going to decide where video shakes itself out, but what do you see right now as best practices for anybody using video in the sales process?
Well, I mean, look, I think you have to be at least experimenting with video, if not figuring out a way to use it pretty consistently at some point in your sales cycle. And, there's a wide range of sellers, a wide range of industries. You have to know your customers, you have to know what they like. But, I've yet to come across an industry where there wasn't a place for where video sort of helped in the buying cycle somewhere, right? And so I think absolutely. And by the way, look no further than demographics. Demographics, again, would suggest this, the cohort of buyers who are coming into the market now and have been for the last, 6-8 years are very video aware. These are folks who use video a lot in their personal life. They're bringing that to work. And so the cohort of buyers we're selling to now are very video friendly. So be using video. I would say be trying it. Try to figure out what use cases work for your customers. Ask your customers how they like to be, what's going to work for them. Again, all the research shows that buyers generally would like to talk to salespeople less. And so how do you accommodate your buyers? How do you add value in that context? and figure out what role video plays in that context. There are other things as well. By the way, again, I was very clear that like this is a complement to other tools, like 100%. There are cycles that can be video driven, but there are lots of cycles where you've got to have your other touch points and figure out where this fits in.
Yeah. There was one example that I ran across the other day. I was talking with a salesperson and I was asked him, hey, explain to me your sales process. And he said one thing that he did that he found very effective, he sends out videos to his customers before a trade show. And the reason being is because trade show, you run into hundreds and thousands of people. He said, by sending out a video to people, they now know who I am. They now recognize me. And it's amazing how much more recognition and how many more conversations I get with people at trade shows because I started the video, the picture of me before they got there.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, huge.
It's huge. I would go a step further with avatars. So, we go to all these industry events. We went to a massive sales event that everybody here would be familiar with. Before that event, using avatars, we had our CEO send out thousands of personalized videos to every single person who was attending with a personal message, this is absolutely impossible prior to avatars, and it's impossible prior to adding avatars into workflow. So now we can add it into sales workflow and create the ability to do things you've never done before. So this is really about a personal touch. As you said, it's like authenticity, and he's announcing himself in that video. He said, this is my avatar. I know you're coming to this event. Here's what I'd like to talk to you about. Like this personalization at scale is a new sort of, I think, era we're kind of embarking on.
Yeah, and I love that you said the person said my avatar. In other words, declared it up front. And I think that takes the whole mystery out of AI. And I think, like you said earlier, creates a lot of trust. So spot on. Yeah.
So we're seeing use cases at, like you said, events and meeting confirmation, as a BDR outreach, meeting follow-ups, lead nurturing. I mean, there are really kind of as many use cases as there are points in the journey. You just have to figure out how to adapt it to like what your customer needs and what you want to do and need as a seller.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna ask you to get ready to touch the third rail of sales. Is AI and video going to replace the BDR?
I mean, like I've said 3 times, like this is a complement to humans. So look, there are lots of things I think that AI can do really well, and we're getting better and better at those things. I think there's a really interesting scenario where a great AI tool like avatars will be a superpower for an AE. So if I'm an AE and I'm selling, or if an AM and I'm selling, I will not be able to do my job without an avatar. It will give me the kind of incredible leverage that, again, because it's personalization at scale. Like let's take that AM example where, I have dozens and dozens of contacts inside one customer. And by the way, I've got, 20 customers, 30 customers. I can now touch them all, talk to them all, be authentic with them all on a regular basis, right? So I think it's a superpower more for AEs. Again, I feel passionately that there are lots of parts of the sales cycle that will be automated. There are lots of parts of the buying cycle that will go, to a marketplace, and there are lots that won't. And we got to figure out like where do you deploy the greatest low touch, high value technology, and where do you still want that human touch?
I like what you're saying there because we still are integrating the human element into it, and I think that's never going to go away. It's just what are those touches that are better done elsewhere. So that is absolutely powerful. I think we're just at the beginning stages of what AI and video can do, and I'm sure you guys are working on some projects that are going to have it actually be interactive. Maybe we'll have to have you back another 6 months because I really think what we're all becoming is Luke Skywalker with an R2D2. The R2D2 is.
I would say maybe slightly differently. I think that avatars gives every rep the ability to become a top performing rep. So these are the kinds of capabilities that, a B player or an average rep can use to turn into an A player, a top rep, right? The ability to know all my customers, touch all my customers, do outreach at scale, like all of these things are the things that separate great sellers from average sellers. And we can enable those average sellers to become great sellers.
Wow, that's huge. We've been talking today, COO of Vidyard, Jonathan Lister. Jonathan, tell us, because there are people out there who are not familiar with Vidyard, the website. Spell it out for us, because I know some people get hung up on the spelling of your company name.
It's Vidyard, Vidyard. So vidyard.com. Check us out. We've got a wide range of products. We have free products all the way through to AI avatars for for thinking about how selling is going to be done today and beyond.
And if you're not taking advantage of it, you got to jump out there now. Go to the website, because you do have a free.
It's a lot of fun, by the way. I mean, you have fun. This is like it's a great way to experiment. The penny will drop. The penny drops for most folks when they see themselves on an avatar. They start to recognize the power. So I encourage folks to just try it out. I think it's as sellers, we kind of we owe it to ourselves, we owe it to customers to kind of figure out how to deliver the most value and try new things. And I would put this in that category.
I like what you said. We owe it to our customers. We do. We owe it to our customers, because at the end of the day, we communicate with our customers in the communication method that they prefer. And more of them are saying, we want to communicate in video without you. So this avatar feature, absolutely a huge piece. So, hey, Jonathan, thank you for being on the show today. Again, Jonathan, COO of Vidyard, vidyard.com. Hey, why do we do the show? It's to help you see and achieve what you didn't think was possible. That's what the Sales Hunter podcast is all about. 2 episodes a week, one like this with a subject matter expert, where we do a deep dive into a subject. 2nd episode, short, single topic for me. It's all about helping you sell better. Hey, my name is Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. Great selling.